Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Rikha Kummala. Today, I would like to explain poster entitled Introducing to English Literature. This poster provides an overview of English literature by focusing on its three major genres: prose, drama, and poetry. Each genres represent a different way writers express ideas, emotions, and human experiences through language. The poster is arranged into three columns, with each column highlighting one genre along with its definitions, characteristic, structure, and functions. Okay, the first is prose. Prose is a form of literature written in ordinary sentence and paragraph, using grammatical structures similar to everyday language. Because of its flexible and straightforward form, prose is widely used to tell stories, explain ideas, and describe events in detail. Prose is generally divided in two main categories: fiction and non-fiction. Fiction refers to imaginary writing created by the author. Although fictional works are not entirely real, they often real-life situations, social issues, and psychological experiences. Through fiction, writers can explore human behavior, moral dilemmas, and cultural values. Examples of fiction include novels, short stories, and drama. Fictional works usually contain several important elements. The first is plot, which is the sequence of events in the story, and then characters who carry the story represent human qualities. And then we have settings, which shows the time and place of the events, and then conflict, which creates tensions and drive the story forward. And then the last is them, which represents the central idea or message of the story. And these elements work together to help readers understand not only the story itself, but also the deeper meanings behind it. And then the second is non-fiction. Non-fiction is based on the fact, real events, and an actual experiences. The purpose of non-fiction is usually to inform, explain, persuade, or reflect on reality. Examples include essays, biographies, autobiographies, journals, memoirs, and literary criticism. Even though nonfiction deals with facts, it is still considered part of the literature because it uses language, structure, and style creatively. Writers of nonfiction often express opinions, interpretations, and reflections, making their work meaningful and engaging for readers. Now we move to second column. It's a drama. Drama is a form of literature that is written to be performed, not to be read. It is presented through dialogue, physical actions, facial expressions, and stage directions, allowing the audience to experience the story visually and emotionally. Drama plays an important role in literature because it shows human conflict directly, often representing social, political, and moral issues. And then we have structure of drama. Most drama follow a clear narrative structure. Is the first is exposition. This is the opening part where the audience is introduced the characters, setting, and background situation. And then second, inciting force. This is the event that triggers the main conflict and disrupt the initial situation. And then the third, rising action. In this stage, the conflict develops and becomes more complicated through a series of events. And then we have climax. This is the most intense moment of the drama, where the conflict reaches its peak and the outcome indicated. And then the last we have resolution. This is the final part where the conflict is resolved and the story becomes to the end. And then we have elements of drama. The key elements of drama include the characters who perform the actions, dialogue which reveals truth and emotions, and then conflict which create tension, and then the last is them with convey the deeper meaning of the play. True drama audience can observe how characters respond to conflict and how human behavior is shaped by circumstance. And then I have a shows about drama yesterday, and I will just show you guys about my drama before.
Don't you burn you with your whims?
Uncle Joe, you stay out of this. This is not the time for you to intrude.
Lucia! Stop it! We just lost our father and mother. You don't need to make something like that.
Okay, that is my little example of drama. Now we can move to the last column. It's a poetry. Poetry is a literary genre that expresses ideas, emotions, and experience in condensed and artistic way. Instead of using long explanation like a prose, poetry relies on carefully chosen word, imaginary, and sound patterns to convey meaning. We have characteristic of poetry. One key characteristic of poetry is use figurative language, such as metaphors, similes, and personification, which help express abstract ideas and emotions. Poetry also emphasizes sound devices, includes rhyme, rhythm, and alliteration, which give poems as musical quality. And then we have elements of poetry. Important elements of poetry include them, which represent central ideas, and then tone, which shows the poet's attitude, and then mood, which reflects to emotional atmosphere felt by readers, and then imaginary, which appeals to the sense, and then the last is sound devices, which enhance to poem rhythm and meanings. And then we have forms of poetry. Poetry exists in many forms, such as traditional poetry like sonnets and haikus, narrative poetry such as ballads, free verse which has no fixed structure, and other forms like odes and elegies. And then we move to conclusion. Prose, drama, and poetry are three foundational genres of English literature. Prose focuses on storytelling and factual explanation. Drama brings human conflict to life through performance. Poetry expresses emotions, and ideas through contents and aesthetic language. Together, these genres help us understand human experience, cultural values, and social realities through the literature. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.